Give them a shot to do what?
Welcome, sports fans, to the hottest sports podcast in the game, JT and the Don, with your hosts, Jimmy Thompson and Donato Bucci. They're covering the most current issues in sports from the 305 to the 412 and all the way to the West Coast. You can follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at JT and the Don, or email them at jtandthedon@gmail.com. Now take it away, guys.
Welcome to the next episode of JT and the Don, presented by Give Us a Shot Network. I am the Don, Donato Bucci, and remember to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you find all of your other favorite podcasts. And remember to leave us a 5-star review. Thank you for the great intro, as always, to Nicole Thompson, and the intro music, the JT and the Don intro music by our guy, Mike Regina. It's an all type of basketball show tonight with another sport mixed in there. But first, let me welcome in everyone's favorite JT, Jimmy Thompson. How you feeling today?
Why are you in such a good mood? I don't see. This is the shows where I don't trust you. What's in the cup that you've been drinking that's off camera right now?
There's nothing. It's my regular look. Look, the Nick Saban approved Coca-Cola.
Nah, that's not what you were drinking earlier. For everyone who's wondering what I'm talking about, he's having a wind down Thursday. That's what's going on. Yes, you are.
It is the Coca-Cola. I just don't like
the way
out of the bottle.
No, I'm not trusting you. It looked a little red to me.
No, it doesn't. It's the Coca-Cola bottle.
The fact that you're calling it by its full name, that means I can't trust you.
I mean, that's what it is, though. That's what it is. I don't know what else to say.
No, I mean, let's have a good show, man. Shout out to the Panthers. I know you think I don't care about them, but going to the Stanley Cup, gotta love it. It's just destiny. All the Miami teams, all the South Florida teams are just destined to do great things. So,
well, let's hope the Hurricanes football team.
Hey, look, man.
For greatness.
Look, Panthers win the Stanley Cup. The Heat win the NBA Finals. The Dolphins go to the AFC Championship.
The Canes went to the Final Four.
The Canes went to the Final Four. Now, if the Canes football can win 9 games, I consider that's a royal flush right there.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. But before we get started, though, you talk about the Florida Panthers, and I put the kibosh on talking hockey because you're not a fan. You are not a fan. You
always do this. You always do this. You always do this. You know what it is? You know what it is? This is how I can tell you come from an annoying fan base. This is the bullshit that I have to deal with. You're not a fan if you're not talking about it 24/7. You're not a fan if you're not obnoxiously throwing it in people's faces 24/7. I'm not a fan if I don't have the gear. Like you always got something to complain about. Just tell the truth. You are. This
isn't have gear. You don't have Panthers
gear. For those of you that are watching, this is Don's philosophy when it comes to everything that it has to do with not just me, but anybody that's his friend. When it's going good for him, all bets are off. It's fine. But the minute something is not going good for him, there's going to be a problem. He's going to poke and prod and any excuse to make himself the good guy. You do this in everything. Just accept it. I've been a Panthers fan for life, bro. Like, I've been a Panthers fan since they were at the Miami Arena. I even sent you a picture of our family with Dougie McClay. Come on, like what more do you want? Do you have a picture with any Penguins player?
You know what I want?
Do you have a picture with any Penguins player?
I want 2 things. Where's your Florida Panther gear? And 2, answer this question. When's the last time you have gone to a home Florida Panthers game? Tell me.
So I don't live down there anymore. There. But the last time I went to a Panthers game was probably like 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, home game.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Who'd they play? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. You go to one game every 10 years. You can't even remember who you go and watch.
It was Philly, I think.
Anyway.
Hey, look, man. Do you have a Penguins jersey? Because I never seen you wear it.
Yeah, I got a couple Penguin shirts. I'll wear it next episode. Yeah,
all my Panthers gear is in the shrine at my parents' house because it's so valuable.
You know what I would love is that the fans that watch our show, because they're real fans, right? They're real fans of our show and they're real fans of the teams. Okay. So what I want to know is from the fans, can you be a true diehard fan if you don't own any Florida Panther gear?
I do. It's at my parents' house. I still got all my jerseys.
At your parents' house.
I even still got my hockey stick from when I played.
The shirt.
Oh, relax. Can we start? Because I knew you were gonna do this shit. Yes. And this is why I can't stand you. Just accept the fact. My teams are on top right now, and Pittsburgh ain't got nothing right now. That's what this is about. Stop being a hater. Start the show. I'm done with it.
Well, we're gonna start the show. So we do have a special guest today. All right, because
somebody to listen to besides you.
Yes,
I'm already tired of you. Like bring Buddy in, man, for real.
So let's welcome in. All right, former Louisville basketball player and now current head basketball coach at Landon School, my guy who I get all of my basketball info from. That's why I'm always smarter than JT when it comes to basketball. My guy, Coach Haj Turner. Coach Turner, JT, welcome him in, man. Bring him into the studio. There we go.
Well, thank you. But Bucci, don't put me in the middle of your beef, man. I just met the dude 2 seconds ago.
It's all right. You're on my side. He knows. He knows already.
Hey, look. Hey, thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it. But hey, look, I just want to let you know, I don't know if you want to be taking credit for some of the basketball takes he's made because somebody on this panel said, book it, the Celtics are going to win this series. So I don't know if you want to be responsible for that because he's kind of getting called out everywhere for this.
I think he got that from Mike Greenberg. He didn't get that from me.
So first, proper welcome to Coach Turner. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate the time. One thing, JT, before we get started, Coach Turner's a big Lakers fan, right? So Coach, do you have Lakers gear?
Absolutely.
Shirt? Thank you. Can you be a true diehard fan if you have no gear, or if you wear another team?
Are we still talking about this? I told you I have gear. I have gear.
I want to know from the expert. Can I just ask he's our NBA expert. That's the other title I'm giving you, Coach.
Can you? Thank you. Can you be a diehard fan if you don't have any gear from that team?
Yeah.
No.
That's the answer. We got it. Thank you. Thank you. All right, JT,
you gotta have something.
I definitely have 2 Heat jerseys in the closet. My Panthers gear, because it's expensive, it's still with my parents. What more do you want? I want to go get my Ricky Williams Dolphins jersey too. Hey, JT, I got all the teams covered. I got my Kane stuff right here on the bed. Like, what more do you want? I'm done with this. Can we talk about basketball?
Go ahead. You left your parents' house 20 years ago, but to go off to college, but
you find
it doesn't even fit. It doesn't even fit. Go ahead.
All right, so let's talk about the Lakers. So they got swept by the Nuggets. Terrible series. But LeBron said after the sweep that he has some stuff to think about, including if he wants to continue to play. So this got everybody thinking. Everybody's all in the uproar. Is there a chance that LeBron retires before the start of next season?
No. 0% chance. And I'm not saying that because I don't want him to retire. I think me and Bucci were talking about this the other day. Like, I don't think you're going to find a more intelligent, shrewd, just like calculating sports celebrity than LeBron James. He doesn't always make the right move. Nobody does, but like he doesn't do things like just haphazardly. I think that's just him kind of being emotional after the game, maybe putting pressure on the front office. Like, hey, if we don't make this or that move or this type of push to get these guys, but I just don't see it. I don't see how you could be that dominant and talk about your legacy and playing with your son. And part of it, I will admit, part of it's emotional because I don't want him to, but I would be willing to bet just about anything that he will be playing for the Lakers next year.
So I'm going to give you, I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy, but I'm going to give you my conspiracy theory. Coach had asked me yesterday, and I told him he'd have to wait to listen, to be on the show and hear it. He asked me what I thought LeBron.
Why you make him wait all this time just to hear something absolutely wrong? You could have just told him this in person.
It is true, but I got to build up the drama a little bit. So he's got 1 year left on his contract worth almost $47 million coming up this year. Then he's got a player option next year for $50.6 million. Mm-hmm. So look, Bronny now has committed to USC. So he's going to be a one and done at USC. Would you agree, Coach? Like he's a one and done type of guy?
Yeah.
So it's not like high school where he's got 4 years or LeBron could catch a game here, LeBron could catch a game there. Like he's got one shot at college, at playing at USC, maybe getting into the March Madness stuff. So I think LeBron's going to truly enjoy that and embrace it. And so I think what he does is he retires this offseason. The contract is still held by the Lakers. This allows his body to heal and rest because we got to face it. He hasn't been able to complete the last couple seasons, but you saw when he's had that break, he's come back pretty fresh. So I think he rests his body. And because he wants to play 1 year in the NBA with Bronny, this not only allows him to watch all the USC games, but then he can dictate the Lakers trading him to what team, because he can unretire like Gronk did and then force the Lakers' hand to trade him while them still getting pieces, and he still gets his $50.6 million player option. Because think about it. If Bronny goes to whatever team that's cap strapped, it's going to be hard to be a free agent in LeBron's ego, right? All those great players got one to take what? Mid-level exception or $10 million? That would never happen because MJ would never do it. Kobe would never do it. So LeBron's not going to do it. The only way he can get the Bronny's team is through that trade where both teams can free up the cap. And at the end of the day, he plays 1 year, then he retires after playing with Bronny.
Coach, you see what I got to put up with, man? You see what I've been dealing with?
I think Coach is buying it, though. Coach is buying it.
He's like, he can't believe you said that. Exactly. Look, the only
I give you credit for creativity and going down a rabbit hole. Like it was impressive, but there's
not
a couple.
buying it.
No, not buying it. There's a couple reasons why I don't think that's going to work. But the first one is a question I have for y'all because I don't know this. Maybe you guys do. Is Bronny a one and done if he's not LeBron's son? Like, or is he talent alone? Is he like, okay, this kid is only going to be in college for a year? And I'm really asking that because I haven't seen him enough. I know he's an NBA player, but like, is he like from a size? Like, you don't see as many guys of his size and stature that are just like no brainers. Like Kyrie Irving,
yeah.
But
well, we did kind of have this question in one of the previous shows, and we just asked in general, is he a top 10, 2024 draftee? And I thought he was because he does two things, right? He can score enough, but two, more importantly nowadays, he can play defense. And you see a lot of guys, it's based on potential. Because you see guys like Jonathan Kuminga, type guys like that can play defense, but can't really score, but they're still getting taken top 10, top 15. So I think he is. Maybe the name does help. So to answer your question, I still think he would be a top 10 or top 15 guy, but I think it definitely helps with the name. I don't know how JT feels about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with you on that. I think if his name wasn't LeBron, it was LeBron's son, it would be different. But like everywhere I look, they've been saying for the past year and a half that he's like the best defensive prospect for like the next two classes. So
yeah,
I gotta imagine that's gotta factor in somewhere. Like he's a guy that does hustle plays. I mean, he's a smart player. The size is an obvious concern, and he's really not an offensive guy. But the fact that they say he's the best defender, I mean, he got to go somewhere. And I mean, we act like they said that he's like projected to be like pick 10. I mean, that's not exactly like you don't have to be Michael Jordan to go pick 10. So I can see it. I can see it if he wasn't LeBron's son, but I think him being LeBron's son has locked it in. Like it's guaranteed that he's going to be a top 10 pick.
another question I have is: are we going to have? Is there potential in the NBA for an Eli Manning type situation? Like, nope, not playing for them. Remember that? Like,
Yeah,
is there a
Kobe. Yep.
situation? Yeah, is there a situation where he just I don't know, like does he is there a way for the Lakers to just sign him? Like, is there a way like because we know this sounds kind of stupid because I don't want to take any away. The kid is an individual, really good player. He needs to carve out his own path. So I feel kind of silly for saying this, but like nobody's really cared. Nobody really worried about his contract. Like he doesn't. It's not like he's already generationally wealthy. You know, Bronny James's unborn great grandkids are set. So like, does he need to like put as much time and energy into going to this team or being picked so I get X amount of dollars if I get picked in the top in the lottery? Like, can he? And that's why I was kind of tying it to like how good is he? Like, is he? And I think we know that he's probably like a lottery type kid, but like if he wasn't, would that almost be better because he can be like just a free agent
A free
signed by the
agent,
Lakers?
undrafted free agent. Yeah, I think that would be better. I think that sure they probably could force someone's hand, like JT's always said. LeBron doesn't want to play in Orlando, so if my Orlando Magic team draft, Bronny, I'm
Right.
sure LeBron can maybe force that in terms of getting Bronny to the Lakers or wherever LeBron wants to go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll say this. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I believe LeBron's statement the other day about like that's I don't think we can put all of this base it on him playing with his son because I really appreciated his comment the other day. At least I heard it the other day when he said that's my dream to play with my son. It may not be what he wants. You know what I mean? And I appreciated that, as a father, like this is what I want, but it may not be the best thing or may not be what Bronny wants. So this talk about playing with his dad or his dad playing with his son, that's not like a mark that we need to hit. Like that may be just something that LeBron wants to happen, but that's another reason why I don't think it makes sense because that's just one of the two of them saying that they really want to play with each other. Like Bronny may, I mean, think about it. Bronny may love the idea of playing with his dad. He may hate it. I don't think he's in between on it. I think he's either really wants to do it or I didn't
prefers not.
Oh,
hey, JT does.
I don't have a
JT
problem
does
with
it
that.
all the time. Hey, coach, you just got to add to the potty.
No,
That's all right.
we ain't paying for nothing. Say what you want to say.
He may not want to do it. So
yeah,
that's another thing to consider.
You do bring up a good point there. So, coach, let's look at the rivals of the Lakers, the Boston Celtics, right? I mean, they're still the rivals. The Celtics, they were able to stave off elimination Tuesday night in Miami to force a Game 5 in Boston. Tonight, Thursday night. But guess what? We're doing a show because I don't believe JT's a real fan. We always seem to do a show during a Miami Heat playoff game. So
no, you just always only accept those dates when the Heat are playing. You know what?
Why even offer that?
I can just walk up the set and don't come back. If you just want to hate,
I got coach tonight.
Narrative.
We good. We good. I got coach tonight.
This the shit I don't like. Jesus, man. You always do this, and he thinks because he's short and he does his hair gel, he wears glasses, people think he's a nice guy. He's not. I gotta put up with this 24/7 from him.
He's got
he uses me in public and apologizes in private through text. It's like, hey man, you know I didn't mean that. Like,
coach, we can't give out any of that info.
Ask your question.
We can't give out any of that info to JT. No.
Jesus, man.
There have been rumors of the Celtic players not liking each other, including a report by NBA insider Kevin O'Connor that he had a source tell him that this Celtics team feels like a group that's tired of fake liking each other. So, coach, go to you first. Do you believe that or no?
I don't believe it, but I also don't believe that it matters. I was thinking about this as I was heading back home. Like this question, the NBA, from everything I've been told, and I know a couple people that played and are still coaching in the NBA, like like it's a job. Like there's been championship dynasties where I'm not saying that they hated each other, but it's the same way. Like there are 90, I don't know about you, Bucci, but like 95% of the people that we work with, I don't see them. Like and even if I do see them, I have a meeting with them. I like them. Like it's not like we have like problems, but like it's the same way, they come to work, same way we go to work, they go home, and like sometimes the media spins that as like they don't like each other. I think we can only look to the Lakers of the Shaq and Kobe times where guys so I think that's really easy. I think it's really easy to kind of for something like that to get out there. But I just don't believe it, and I don't think it matters. I think that I think they've got a really bad matchup against a tough team with the best player in the playoffs. I don't think that story comes out if it's 2-2 right now.
Yeah, that good point. JT, you agree?
No, I gotta disagree, man. The thing is, this story
you set him up, man.
This story has been out there, man. Absolutely believe this. This team has always been weird. It's a weird group of cats, man. This is different. And you remember, what was it, 2 years ago against the Heat, they lost game 2. And what was Marcus Smart doing in the locker room? Yelling at everybody. And that was like the big story. And that went away. And then there were rumors of do Tatum and Brown like each other. Then rumors came up about them wanting to trade Jaylen Brown. He had to go, talk to everybody at midnight, give the Will Smith Fresh Prince, why they don't want me conversation with him. So yeah. This has been building for a while. And I think the thing that this stems from is the two best players, they don't get on each other to be better, which I think is weird. Like, especially in this series, you see they're struggling. I don't see them go to each other, pick them up, or the opposite, like go to them, get on them, to say like, hey, look, you Jaylen Brown or you Jason Tatum, like step up and play better. Like, I don't see that. They just go out there, get their stats, and go on about their day. Like, that never works. Guys like LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, even Jimmy Butler, like they're calling you out or they're encouraging you to step up and play your best game. So you need that. And they just don't have that on this team. So that just tells me they just tired of each other. I'm like, I'm just showing up to work, getting the paycheck, and I'm out of here. They don't like each other, and it's evident.
I agree with Coach, actually. I think that if this series was 2-2, if they took the first 2 in Boston, next 2 go to the Heat in Miami, none of this is mentioned, and we're probably like, oh, they're getting along fine. Because in the other reason why I don't believe it is I think it's actually other external factors that go into play on, how the chemistry is and how everything's going down in this playoffs. First, there's a report by Woj that the players never got over the way or the reason that Ime was fired. Like, that's a big part right there. That has nothing to do with Tatum versus Jaylen or Marcus Smart screaming in the locker room 2 years ago. He's a competitor, right? Like, I think all 3 of us here are competitors. We're not going to be happy when we lose a playoff game.
You're right. So you tell me right now, if Steve Kerr cheated on his taxes and got fired by the Warriors, that Steph, Draymond, and Claire is going to be like, we're going to let this ruin our whole season, and we're a series away from the NBA Finals, and we're just going to let this whole thing ruin our season. No, they're going to get out there and play the game. Like, I'm not buying that.
Let me finish. So
please don't.
But you there's a difference. Those guys are veterans. They've been through the trenches. They've been through the fire. These guys have not. They don't have a title. And Ime, they felt, was taking him there. And now you put in a rookie coach. Like, it's a little bit different. It's nothing against Missoula. I think JT and
it's all against Missoula.
No, it's not. Because the players feel this way. I can't feel for the players. They feel this way. But then I think the other part is the Jaylen Brown aspect of it is that he's not happy in Boston. Let's face it. The organization and the fans. He is not happy with them. So when you have all these other factors, yeah, people are then going to go inside and say, oh, it's internal in terms of between the players. Like, no, there's a lot of factors going. They seem to like each other. Al Horford gets in the coach's seat and coaches them up.
No one ever tells him. Old.
That's the respect factor.
He should be in the coach's seat.
But that's the respect factor. Like, no one's telling them to get out. They're listening. They're not rolling their eyes. So to me, they are a group that's together. They're just not winning right now. And they're letting and people like you, JT, are putting all these external factors into play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because I'm the one that was screaming at my teammates after a loss. I'm the one that was worried about whether I was going to get traded or not. Like, I'm just crazy. I'm just making shit up. Like, you're right. It's people like me that are the reason why the Boston Celtics have been playing like crap for 2 series. You're right. It's all me. I'll take on that responsibility.
You're acting like the Miami Heat are perfect and that LeBron
we not Jimmy Butler
never did all of that and they still won a title.
Jimmy Butler's asshole, and they've hated him since he's gotten there. But you know what they do? They strap it up, they go to work, and they try to get to an NBA Finals.
Okay, we have a guest on. Can I ask the next question for Coach?
Gosh.
All right, thanks. So 2 questions here, Coach, for you. If the Celtics go down to the Heat, which
win.
Okay, it's a win. All right. JT's gonna like that. Win. All right. So 1, who is the blame for the playoff struggles of the Celtics?
Oh, I know you're not gonna like this answer. This is not a typical sports talk answer. The Miami Heat.
I knew that was coming, Coach. That's Coach talk there.
I'm sorry, man. Like, and I know we didn't talk about this specific question the other day, but like we were talking about this group or this series, and people are talking about, who's to blame. And I knew these articles would come out after they were down 3-0. It's like, oh, do we move Brown or should Mazzulla be fired? And I think I told you, Booch, I'm biased. I recruited and coached Mazzulla's younger brother. I know Mazzulla. I've met him. I don't know him, but I've met him a couple of times. Great dude. Just good people. Know his family. So it's hard for me to say anything positive about Celtics, but like he's a good dude. And to keep this team together and keep these egos, together, and to get this team to the Eastern Conference Finals, despite how the finals have gone, against a team that is known and built on toughness and culture, and a coach who's a first-year rookie head coach who's 34 years old is going up against a hot team with the best player in the playoffs, with a team who's they might as well be the Miami culture. You hear people say culture more than you hear people say Miami Heat, and that's a good thing. So, like people like is Spoelstra out coaching Mazzulla? Hell yeah! And I still think Mazzulla's doing a great job for his experience level. So I think the history and the culture and the hot streak that Miami is on, that's why the series is where it is. And I don't think any wholesale changes need to happen, especially not from a coaching standpoint. The roster, obviously, you can always tweak the roster, maybe get a dynamic point guard that can kind of. Marcus Smart's a special player, but like, I don't know, is he the franchise point guard to kind of play the way they want to play and be like? I think he's a fantastic player, but do you reach your goals with him as your starting point guard? I don't know. But I just, to answer the question, I think the blame, even though you may want to hear Mazzulla or Brown or Tatum or Smart or some hot take, I think it's the Miami Heat. I mean, I know that sounds like a silly, safe answer, but the Miami Heat they're locked in. Like he's gotten 2 coaches fired already. I hope it ain't a third. Hasn't the Heat? Wait, Doc Rivers, and then who was it before then?
Budenholzer.
Yeah, so he's. I just hope he doesn't get a third coach fired.
So I know JT's gonna like that answer by you, Coach. But JT, who do you blame?
Coach T. Can I call you that? Can I call you Coach
Yes,
T?
sir.
Man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
All right, man. With all due respect, and I mean that of the highest order. Like, this is all the respect I got in my being, man.
I've never heard him say that, so man, he must have respect for it.
All due respect, all in caps, it's Mazzulla. It's Mazzulla and Jason Tatum. And I said this before the series started, that this series was going to come down to him versus Coach Spo. And I said it was unfair that this is the coach that you have to go up against in your first time in a playoff series of this magnitude, and it's your first head coaching job in the NBA. It's just not fair. Like, better and more experienced men have failed in that situation. We just mentioned that. Doc Rivers failed. Budenholzer failed. So I'm not mad at him about that, but he is partially to blame because I think he's just not ready for that bright light yet against this type of coach. So, and you saw it in the Phillies series. Like, the team kind of helped him out. And I know they're growing, they're still on the fly, but there were times where I think he got out coached by Doc, and they kind of figured things out on the fly, and they survived in that series. And then now it's Eastern Conference Finals against Spo, and I mean, let's say like it's him and Pop, like they're the best two coaches in the league. So you can't make those kind of mistakes. So I think him from the inexperienced standpoint is part of the reason. And then the other is, I mean, Don, you picked this guy to be MVP, man. Like he can't remain blameless. It's Jason Tatum. Like he's supposed to be a top 5 player. He's supposed to be an MVP. You picked him. And he's supposed to be better than Jimmy Butler and Jaylen Brown. Like, show me that somebody that they think is that good has 0 fourth quarter field goals in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, that's unacceptable. Like, this should be his superstar coming out party where he separates himself from all the other, good players in the NBA. And instead of that, we're now having the conversation of, is Jason Tatum even the best player on his own team? Like,
oh my goodness.
The hype he came into in this playoffs in this season, and for the way they're going out, like he has to get blamed. Because guess what? People aren't saying on national TV that Jaylen Brown is the best player on the team. They're not saying Jaylen Brown is a top 5 player in the NBA. Jason Tatum is getting that hype. So if he's not playing well and playing this bad, he got to get the blame. So I'm going Missoula, and I'm going Jason Tatum. I'm going like a 60-40 split.
See, no, you got to pick.
I would say,
go ahead, Coach.
I was just going to say, like, I don't disagree with you on either. I don't fully disagree with you. I would just add one word to, I would say, and I'm not trying to backtrack, but I think we're kind of saying the same thing about Missoula. I don't blame Missoula. I blame his inexperience. So not trying to, he's going to, but I tell you what about him, we can say whatever we want about who's to blame, but I would put $1 million on it that if you ask him, he's going to say Missoula. And that's what I like about him. That wasn't just for the media. Like if you ask Missoula the same question, he'll say, I am to blame. And if they won, he would say, my players are the reason we won. But yes, it is Missoula. And I mean, it's always, the best player and the coach get all the credit and the blame. So you're not wrong. But I would if I had to shift the blame or split the blame up, I would put more of it on Tatum than Missoula. Tatum's got more experience in the NBA than Missoula.
Yeah. And Tatum's supposed to be the next generation, and he ain't showing it. Don, do you have any answers different than these?
Of course. All right,
so let's get it over with.
But of course, I mean, Coach said it, a lot of the credit, right, has got to go to the Heat. Right now, they're not the more talented team, but they're just the better team right now. So for you to put that on Missoula, I think that's a little bit too much. I'm going to defend Missoula there. But then also, you want to go to Tatum. You've been saying this for a while. Oh, has Jaylen Brown closed the gap, and is Tatum really the best player?
I know how much you hate. I know how much you hate when things that I say come true. I know you hate that.
Are you done talking? Great. It's not true.
Passion.
I'm going to tell you right now through these 4 games, if you think Jaylen Brown is the better basketball player, then I can't respect your basketball knowledge anymore. And I respect it a lot right now. Because you go look at the stats and how they've played, right? In 3 of the 4 games, he has 30-plus points, all right? The game 3, which no one played well for.
Yeah, we're not asking which player is better. I'm asking you. But the question is, what is the blame?
To the point.
Please get there. Wrap it up. Dave Chappelle, let's go.
You look at his stats, 30-7, then 34, 13-8, and then game 4, 33, 11-7, 14 of 22. That's Tatum. You want to go Jaylen Brown? I'll tell you why Jaylen Brown is the one to blame, right? He's supposed to be this like great defender too. What's he doing? Jimmy Buckets is doing whatever he wants. Whoever Jaylen Brown is guarding is getting to the bucket, all right? But then more importantly, game 3, 0 for 7 from three-point range. In the first 3 games of that series, which they lost all 3, he's 2 for 20 from beyond the arc. I don't get it. Games 2 to 4, 16 points, 12 points, 17 points. Like no more than 6 rebounds or 4 assists in a game. Bro, you got to help out Tatum. I don't care how good Shaq was. Kobe backed him up. I don't care how good Duncan is. Manu and Tony Parker backed him up. Be Robin. Quit trying to be Batman and be Robin. All right, Jaylen Brown? That's all I got to say there.
Maybe the problem is he knows he's Batman and they keep casting him as Robin. And that's why they need to break up the team. Let's be real. Let's be real. No. You open the door. He was Robin. You open the door, now you got a face plant on the pavement. Yeah, if Jaylen Brown's so to blame, how you just going to discount all the struggles that Jason Tatum has had? Because if I was Jaylen Brown, I would be pissed. I'd be pissed if you're saying I'm the reason we're down, and this dude who's getting all the pub as the best player ain't even scoring field goals in the fourth quarter of multiple games. Like you can't have it both ways.
But tell me where he struggled.
Right, just say you love Tatum. Just say you love Tatum. I know you picked him to win the MVP before the season. Just say you love Tatum. He can do no wrong. He can do no wrong in your eyes.
He can't do wrong. He struggled in the fourth.
He's done a lot of wrong. I know. I've watched all his horrible performances.
Before I ask the next question, Coach, we saw LeBron at the end couldn't get a shot up. Is that all on him? The defense all collapses. There's sometimes nothing.
Bro, LeBron had a 40-point triple-double. We talking about one shot.
But Tatum that gets 30-plus points doesn't get the same benefit of the doubt that LeBron gets. So, all right. So is Jaylen Brown then. He's way more empty calories. So the other question, Coach, if the Celtics go down or when the Celtics go down, as you said, what moves in the offseason do they need to make? Or one move, whatever, or one move, what's one major move they got to make?
I think they need to this is tough for me because I'm torn because I want to say like they need they need to change the pace, and I literally mean like pace, like the pace that they play with. I think, and I'm not going to act like I watched them play 25 times this year. I've seen it more in the playoffs, which tend to be slower in general anyways, no matter how fast or slow you play. But just somebody who puts more pressure on the rim and creates more space on the floor. I don't dig into the NBA enough to know who's available or free agency and stuff like that. And I don't mean to like say that they should trade Marcus Smart because I don't think if I'm coaching the Celtics, I don't want him off the floor, let alone off the team. So I don't know who slides around. But I just think they need somebody to pick up the pace with them offensively. But he's such a dominant defensive force that I'm not saying that he should go to the bench. So first and foremost, just a point guard that can pick up the pace and create even more space for guys like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. But also, you talk about the team, and like even though I don't think it's true, I have no idea. Like you talk about the relationships on the team and how much they like each other. Like maybe they need more because I'm looking at this roster now. Like in terms of veteran locker room presence, is there anybody besides Al Horford? I guess Blake Griffin's on there, but like,
is Malcolm Brogdon considered a veteran presence?
I guess I don't know, but yeah, maybe. But just there's even though I don't think it's true that maybe they don't have the greatest chemistry, even though they may not be hating each other. But I say a locker room presence, like, but not just a Udonis Haslem type that doesn't play, but like somebody who can help them on the floor. But him and his career are two of my favorite things about the NBA. I'm just saying that
we get it. I just laugh.
They can't afford that guy. He's amazing. I love him and his career. I love everything I hear about him. But just somebody who has a ring. Somebody who has a ring. I don't know. Do they have any former champions on their roster?
Not responsible champions, like people that are responsible for it.
Right. I don't think they have any.
They may not even have a champion unless it's really someone that's way down on the bench past even Blake Griffin.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
Yeah, I think you do bring up a good point. JT, what would you add to that?
Now there's what I would do, and there's what I think they will do. So
Okay.
I think what they will do, and I don't think this is fair, but I think what they're going to try to attempt to do is keep this thing together and I think Missoula is going to be the scapegoat, and I think they're gonna move on from him prematurely and bring in somebody like maybe a Monty Williams or a Budenholzer that they think can get them over the hump. If they're going to keep the team together, I think that's the route they're going to take. But what I would do is I would consider, first of all, you got to make the decision. Are we team Tatum or are we team Brown? Because that can't last. And you got to decide what you're going to do from there. And once they figure that out, then everything else will fall into place as far as how we want to build this team. Because I think another reason why they don't work together is they're essentially the same player. They're big wings that are athletic, that can do some defense, but they're volume scorers. They can hit threes. They can get to the free throw line. They can slash. Like, they do the same things. And you very rarely see that work out where guys that have the same skill set, win together. I think D Wade and LeBron were like the only guys I seen that can actually do that. And that was like a weird best friend situation. Clearly, these dudes don't get along. So I think they need to decide which side they're on first and then make moves then. And I do think they have to split them up because we overlooked this. Hey, man, the man upstairs in management was supposed to be the next greatest coach. He got the hell out of there fast. I'm talking about Brad Stevens. Like, one day he was the next, Popovich. Next minute, he wanted to be Danny Ainge. And it was weird how that just happened. But I think he kind of saw this develop, and it's like there's a ceiling with this formula. And I think, like you said, if it's pace or if it's players or if it's coaches, they got to figure out what they want to be and then, move on with that game plan. But I think it's unfortunately going to end with the first stone that's going to roll is going to be they're going to change coaches. And I don't know what that will look like. But from there, I think you'll get a clearer picture of what they want to do.
I have a question. About, because I don't think they'll do that, and obviously I hope they don't do that in terms of letting Missoula go. But what do you guys think about the practice of? And it wouldn't be a Nick Nurse, Doc Rivers type of guy because they're too established and they'll be head coaches somewhere next year. But what do you this happens in college and in the pros when you have a guy who you think deserves the chance and has the right qualities to be a successful head coach, but he's just young, and they fortify his staff with veteran coaches, people that can kind of just help him in those areas that only time and experience can help. Because I was listening to, I think it might have been game 5, if not game 4. I mean, it might have been game 4, if not game 3, where they were saying like it was Van Gundy and Mark Jackson. They're always pro coach. Like they're always going to be rooting for the coach, and I respect that about them. But they were talking about how challenging it was for Missoula to take this job. 34 years old, rookie head coach, happens like out in the middle of nowhere. Maybe he knew internally some stuff, but like this is a really tough situation. It's good in the sense that you have a really talented roster, but it's a really unique and I think tough situation. And one of the things they said while they were talking about this during a free throw or something, they were saying like he also had no input over his staff. So like this happened like days or maybe a few short weeks before the season started. There were so many things working against him. No staff that I picked. Didn't even know I was going to be a head coach. 2 weeks, let's say, I don't know how long it was, but just very little time to prepare. Don't have a full training camp. For all those reasons, and you talk about how much Brad Stevens was championing Joe Mazzulla. Given all that, I'm not saying that you didn't know any of that already, but just throwing that out there, do you see a scenario where they don't can him, but they take a deep dive and spend some money on some established assistant and or former head coaches?
I do see 2 scenarios where that happens. Either they fight back and it goes 7 games and they lose, or they win and go to the finals. Because if they lose tonight, like the Northeast is going to go wild. Like they're already going wild. So they're out for blood. They're going to have to blame somebody. And this is the NBA. This ain't the NFL. Like it's coaches first. Like that's why you see like coaches that have successful track records, they get canned instantly. So if Monty is getting fired a year after going to the finals, and he just made the playoffs. Same thing with Budenholzer, just won a championship a couple of years ago. Like, it's unfortunate. Like, Missoula was thrown into an unfair situation, no doubt about it. But it's like, I don't think they expected that the end result would optically look like this. So, they're not going to blame Jason Tatum. Like, they think he's the franchise. They're not going to blame Jaylen Brown. Like, they're going to blame him, and I think that's what people are going to be calling for in the media. All the stories are going to be about Missoula versus Spo. Like, is Missoula ready? Like, do they need to look at, another way to go to get over the hump? And I think the noise from the media is what ultimately is going to force Boston's hand if they lose tonight.
I gotta go somewhere with you though, Bucci and JT. Or I'm sorry, am I supposed to call you the Don on this show? Sorry.
Nah, call him by his name. I don't want to call himself that.
Now think about this. I'm not trying to like stir the pot, but this is the world we live in these days. You fire, and I know there's a much more. I'm looking at all the head coaches in the NBA. I know that there's a lot more diversity, but you're also in Boston, who doesn't have the best track record of tolerance and just diversity and just we don't need to go there. Like we know Boston's got a history. You take a rookie black head coach who takes his team to the Eastern Conference Finals, given these circumstances. Now, does Brad Stevens say, "Hey, we can't fire him because he's black"? I'm not saying that, but you gotta think about
they
things.
Thought about it. That's on the docket. Like if they got a folder with the things we're considering, exactly what you said is on that list.
He's also a New England son too. He's a true. I know the family. Like he's a true like New England, Providence, Rhode Island guy. So there's maybe some of that buys him. I don't know. Maybe that gives him less time. Maybe that gives him more time. I don't know. But there's a lot of things that.
I think you're right, but I think nothing about this is going to be a rational decision. I think the thing that is going to trump that is people basically think they got here without him. I don't agree with it, but that's what people think. Like basically, the Celtics are so good, they were going to make the playoffs regardless of who the coach was, and they were probably going to get back to where they are without the coach. Now, if people already thought they were going to be good without a coach, and now they're not getting the job done with the new coach, I think that's what's ultimately going to devalue him a little bit, because they're going to be like, okay, what's the difference between this year and last year? Because last year we had Ime, we won in 7 games, and this year we have Joe with a better team, and we almost got swept in epic fashion. So I think it's just the optics is what's going to do him in, and he doesn't have any cachet. Like he doesn't have any leverage. It'd be different if he was an established coach like a Doc Rivers is like, all right, we got to give him another year.
I agree, JT, with what you're saying in terms of the optics for him doesn't look good because of the way they're going down. I think he has 2 saving graces here. And I've told you, we asked this question of like, is the value of coaching gone at an all-time low? And I said, no, the value of owner patience is at an all-time low. Like you can't lose 3 games in a row without being on the hot seat all of a sudden. Like that's ridiculous. But I think he has 2 saving graces. Actually, maybe the one. They obviously saw something midway through the year that they changed his title from interim to head coach. Like, why do that halfway through the year? Why not wait for this specific moment to say, you know what? We want to see what this guy does in the playoffs, because it's much easier to let him go with the interim title after getting, a gentleman's sweep by the Heat than naming him halfway through. And now we look like fools. Like we didn't know what was going on, because obviously he must have had the locker room in good shape halfway through. If not, Brad Stevens is going to hear about that. And I think actually his other saving grace is Brad Stevens has been there. He understands the way it is in Boston in terms of you got to win and win now.
As an outsider.
And at some point, there's got to be some sort of patience. And I think Brad Stevens has that to say, you know what, we got to give him a second season, because, it's going to look bad on me if we let him go. But 2, he understands as a coach, it takes time. And I think going back to what Coach Turner said, if they can bring those assistants around that are veteran assistants, that's on Brad Stevens now to be able to facilitate that. And I think maybe that's what he's thinking too. And that could be that saving grace is Brad Stevens has been there. He's been on the bench. He's not just a GM up in the booth or in the suite, Like, he's been there. He understands what it takes. So I think there's a couple saving graces for Joe Mazzulla. Real quick, what I would do is I would trade Jaylen Brown. They can't coexist. And I think you've already picked your side if you're the Celtics, just because of all the reports. And listen, if I'm Jaylen Brown, I want out of there too. Like, that's not the friendliest place to play. And I think the fans have already picked Tatum over Brown. So if I'm him, I want to get out too. And listen, I think you trade him to the Rockets. You can get guys like Jalen Green. You can get your guy Alperen Sengun, and then you can get multiple first-round picks, and that helps the Rockets too, because they're talking about bringing in James Harden. All of a sudden now you've got a young core with James Harden and Jaylen Brown.
So I got to go from Tatum, who's a volume player, to James Harden, who's old and a volume player.
Hey, but it
can't
works
wait.
for both teams.
You know what? I'm done with you. I can't respect your basketball opinions today. Hey, look, man. All right. So I think it's a foregone conclusion that the Heat go into the finals, right? Everybody on this panel agree with that? All right. So we're gonna do a brief NBA Finals preview. So let's assume the Heat take care of business tonight. The Nuggets are already waiting for us, right? So what I want is an X factor for each team. So I want to get his bad basketball opinion out the way first. So Don, X factor for each team in the finals, Heat and Nuggets.
All right. For Denver, Michael Porter Jr., right? If he plays the way he did against the Lakers, I think they easily win the series. You know, no offense to Heat Nation. He went 15, 10, and 3 averaging. He can go defense on multiple guys, especially on Jimmy Butler. So I got
Michael Porter in defense, bro. Stop.
He got the length. That's what causes problems, is that length.
Lengthwise, bro.
And then for the Heat, I think it's Tyler Hero. Can he come back for the finals? Because
they say there's no shot coming back.
I don't know. That's not what the rule. Listen, if Boston can extend this, then they'll need him, especially now that Gabe Vincent, we don't know what that ankle is like.
He'll be all right.
They need another shooter. They need another slasher. Hey, Tyler Hero, he's going to find a way. He's a tough guy. He'll find a way if they get back.
He's going to find a way to stay on the bench. Coach T, who your X factors for each team?
I know we don't have a ton of time. Bruce Brown, Gabe Vincent.
I like Bruce Brown.
You know what? I wasn't even doing it for that. I know that. I promise I didn't even think about that till you threw that up. But Bruce Brown, I think, just something, man. Like I've loved him since he busted our ass when I was coaching in college. I think he's a problem, and I just think, like, if he can be like a consistent, like, you know, 4th or 5th scorer, and you know, defensively he's really aggressive, I think that could put him over the top. I worry about Michael Porter. I'm a huge fan of his game, but his shot selection and his defensive apathy is concerning. But then Gabe Vincent, man, I sucked my teeth when you said Tyler Hero, because I was going to say him too. I haven't kept up with whether he's actually going to play, but like Gabe Vincent, I think like JT said, I think you're up 3-0 or you're up 3-1. It's never happened before. He should be all right. He should be all right. And then Duncan Robinson. I know you only asked for one person, but Duncan Robinson, if Tyler Hero is not going to play. But I got the Nuggets though. Sorry.
Oh, so he's gonna get to that, but I guess he already.
I like it, Coach.
He already cracked it open.
Sorry.
Coach, it's funny though, because I'm gonna start with Miami first, because you basically just gave my answer. It's gonna be health and keeping up the elite shooting pace that they have, especially from 3. Like, I think that's what's gonna be the X factor for them. And I agree with you, Don. The X factor for the Nuggets is gonna be Michael Porter Jr., because in the playoffs, he's been crazy. He's averaging 3 3-pointers made for the whole postseason. He shot 42% from 3 in the Western Conference Finals and 41 for the whole playoffs. 39 threes in 14 games. I'm sorry. For a guy who don't facilitate, he doesn't play defense. Like, if they could get that kind of scoring from him at that efficiency, that's going to be a problem. So if he could continue that, that's going to be the X factor for sure. And then for us, it's going to be the health and just keep shooting the lights out the ball like we have. Yeah. Now, Coach T, all right, I'm about to cut his mic. He already said the Nuggets going to win this.
Yes.
Why?
Hey, this is why we bring you on, Coach. No pressure, but this
no. I'm not. We're not playing that game. It's all the pressure in the world.
This is why we bring you on. Give us that analysis.
Pressure or not, this is one of the easier answers. I don't see how anybody can overcome even Miami Heat culture, even Jimmy Butler, even the role players and all the undrafted players. Man, Jokic and what's my man Jamal Murray?
Jamal Murray, yep.
It's scary because those two guys, they're obviously great players, but those two guys can they're capable of not just a great game every night, they're capable of a historic game every single night. And
30 points like it's nobody's business.
And some of the stuff that Jokic is just mesmerizing. It's just I just don't see.
Coach, say that again, because I've been trying to tell these guys for years about this, but they don't want to listen to me.
Jokic is mesmerizing, man. He's.
I never.
No, you don't get to do that.
He doesn't get sped up. He's not jumping over people, but he's stronger than he looks. It's just he does a lower. The Don. He does a lower body workout after every single game. He's
Don's like, what's a lower body workout? What does that consist of?
I've been known to skip leg days. Listen, wait, Coach, you're saying Jokic does this? Man, sometimes it doesn't show. They were saying
ask the Morris twin who had to take a blindside block from him. He hasn't played since.
They were saying he looks winded walking down the tunnel, out of his car, down the tunnel to go.
It's just because his face is red, man.
Yeah, he's a special. This is the most I've watched him. The playoffs and these late night. I've never watched him as much as I have this season and this postseason, and he's phenomenal. And Jamal Murray, he doesn't get flustered, man. That game he had where he was having a ho-hum game and then popped off 23 in the fourth quarter.
Epic, yeah.
That could happen, and it's just, I don't know. It's just, I like a new team winning it and all that stuff too. This be their first time, but even if they'd won 15 championships before, I think this matchup, these rosters, I think Michael Malone is a bit underrated, under the radar, in these playoffs at least, because he has such good players, and I'm sure he prefers it that way. But I'm putting my money on the Nuggets.
Me too, Coach. It's their year. They've got Jokic. It's their year. They're going to be the better, well-rounded team than the Heat. And they got
JT, how you feel about this though, man?
They got that home court, that altitude. JT don't know anything about that altitude. They don't want any of that.
Didn't you just give this whole spiel last round about home court, Celtics in 7? It's gonna be the Heat.
Over. You better take care of business tonight. I told Coach, you don't want the Celtics to get rolling, because if you got to go back game 6, that pressure's on Miami, and you don't have to go.
Whatever. Heat in 7, and I'm glad you brought up Malone, because he's been yapping about getting no respect, and he's basically screaming to get his ass out coached by the GOAT, Spo. That's what he's asking for. So I think Spo will come up with a great game plan. I think it will involve letting Jokic do damage without letting him get everyone else involved. I don't know how they do that, but I think that's the best way to do it. But I just think it's another person that's asking to get out coached by the best coach in the league, and they really gonna keep disrespecting Jimmy Butler, a.k.a. Michael Jordan Jr. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. They keep disrespecting this man. He's going to get it done. How many giants does he have to slay before we start giving this man his respect? I'm not going to say it's going to be a sweep.
Win a ring.
It's going to be heated. He about to. It's going to be Heat in 7. All right. So I got the Heat.
Wait. Heat in 7. Heat in 7 in the finals.
Yes.
Okay. I thought you said Heat. I thought you talking about this.
We don't bring up the number 7 in Boston. They like Jordan 6. That's the most we going.
Okay.
All right, Coach, can you stick around real quick? Forget about it. Fugazi. All right, JT, just give me, because we got to talk a little bit of boxing with the Devin Haney-Lomachenko fight. We saw the controversial victory some felt by Haney. So, Coach, if you want, chime in. I'll go to JT first. But JT, give me your top 5 pound-for-pound list real quick.
All right, no particular order, but these are the guys in my top 5. Got Terrence Crawford, still got Tyson Fury. Tank Davis has moved up into my top 5. I still got my boy NOY. I know you don't. I know you say he's not legit. I think he is, and he's about to have a big fight next month. He's going to show it.
Who's that? In a way?
Yeah.
In a way?
Yeah.
I agree with you. I never
because last time we did this and I said in a way, you and Vicious Vic looked at me like I was crazy.
I had him in the top 5 last time.
And then number 5 is an A-B situation. I got Usyk and I got Charlo at 5 as like the alternates for the 5th spot.
Bro, has Charlo even fought lately? So, all right, Coach, do you have a list?
Yeah, he fought what? In May. He fought like 2 weeks ago. Or no, not 2 weeks ago. He fought 2022. Yeah, he's coming back.
Coach, do you have a list? Just curious.
No,
you're a boxing guy.
I'm not. I follow it lightly, but not enough to have a list. I'm not going to sit here and BS and give you. I do like I like this. I like the Haney dude. I like Fury, but I don't know enough to. I could look it up right here and give you a few names, but once I actually looked it up while you were talking, I was like, oh, this ain't gonna come out right. I'm not saying Tyson Fury, Haney, and Tank. That's all I got.
All right, no, we can respect that. My list number 1's Terrence Crawford, Bud Crawford. Then I think 2 is Fury, Inoue, Usyk, and then Shakur Stevenson. Haney got to show a little bit more after that fight, but
let's call it what it is. He lost that fight. He lost that fight.
You think
the guy that I had in my top 5 last time, and y'all, I think I had him number 2, and y'all laughed at me. He just tagged Haney and got robbed because I had Loma in my top 5 last time. Y'all looked at me like I was crazy.
He's not top 10 anymore. Lomachenko, he had a good fight, but he's not top 5. Let's not be fooled.
So won that fight.
What's that?
Do you think he won that fight like JT said?
I did have him 115, 113. Yep. Okay. I had Lomachenko.
Your glasses are messed up, man. You clearly didn't see what was going on in there.
You thought you
just rub him a little bit.
You thought Haney won?
No. Oh, I thought he lost.
That's what I said. I thought
you said Haney won.
No, Lomachenko 115, 113. Sure. Yeah. I did.
Okay.
I did.
Look at you scoring at home like a professional.
That's right. So, Coach, forget about it for Fugazi. We know you've watched the show, but we'll remind everyone. We're going to read a statement, not a question. We'll read a statement. And then if you agree with it, if you think it's a good take, a hot take, say forget about it. If you want to use your Italian accent, go ahead.
Don't do that.
I don't mind. We could pretend like we're in Goodfellas or something. Or if you don't agree with it, Fugazi. All right. It's a fake, bad take, fake take. All right.
Yeah.
So first one, JT hinted to this. We should believe the rumors that Jimmy Butler is Michael Jordan's son.
Only reason I didn't cut you off is I didn't want to be rude, but that's Fugazi.
I didn't come up with this one. That was definitely a JT statement. Fugazi. All right. I like it. JT.
Forget about it, man. Look at the story.
Look
at the story, man. Out of all places, Jimmy Butler was born in Houston. Jordan was there playing the Rockets 9 months before. Boom, Jimmy Butler was born. His mom even said that the dad abandoned him because he did it to protect his name. And there's always been a rumor that Michael Jordan had to abandon his son out there. This is like Marvel couldn't write this script, man. Like Jimmy Butler is everything Michael Jordan is, man. He got the same attitude, same bad attitude, same killer instinct, same killer will. Yes, man, this is Jordan's son. Like, this is the ultimate villain arc. My dad was a superstar, didn't want me, and now I'm coming back to be better than him. Yeah, this is definitely true.
This is Fugazi. This is ridiculous. I mean, it's already been proven wrong. His parents have come out and they know who they know both the mom and the dad. Like, I don't
care how much Jordan paid the people. I don't care how much Jordan paid the people. That's that man's son.
Oh my goodness. Oh, listen. You know what? I'll tell you this.
Please don't.
It's because he's in a Bulls uniform. Like, and now he's doing good in the playoffs. Nah, it's not his son.
He's been doing good in the playoffs, man.
Let's go. Fugazi. All
right. Next one. The Lakers would still be in the playoffs if they still had Russell Westbrook. Forget about it or Fugazi.
Coach, got to go to you first. That's your team.
Fugazi. And I am not one of those people piling on for Westbrook. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. wasn't the right fit. I think he took way too much blame in LA. But the reason it's Fugazi is because of how well they played after the moves were made. There's nothing against Russell Westbrook. And quite frankly, the Clippers were better when they got him too. So like he was a bad fit for one team. He was the only thing that gave them any slim chance of hope, the Clippers in the playoffs, the way he was playing when all the guys were either playing poorly or injured or out.
Yeah.
So I say that it's Fugazi, but I'm not one of those people that's crushing Russell Westbrook. I don't.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal, and he's taken way too much BS from the public in the past couple of years. But no, the Lakers got as far as they could get, and a lot of it had to do with the moves they made at the trade deadline.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. It's Fugazi. JT knows I'm a huge Russell Westbrook fan. At the time when really in his prime, like my favorite player. And yeah, I don't see how he would have helped. I agree. Like they needed shooting. They brought that in. They got a little bit of depth. And I just don't think Russell Westbrook would have helped in the areas that they needed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fugazi. Like the numbers were just better. And I don't even think they would have beat them with like triple-double Russ in his prime. Like it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. Triple-double Russ that with LeBron in his prime, maybe.
Nah.
All right, so, oh my God, this is another JT statement here. The Hornets not getting Wembanyama is the best thing to ever happen to them because that means Michael Jordan will be selling the team because he was waiting to see if they got the number 1 overall pick.
Wait, are you saying that like people think that if they got him, he would not sell?
Right.
And since they didn't get him, he's going to sell. And I guess Charlotte Hornets fans, they want him to sell because they're not.
That's the best thing to. Yep, I guess that's the best thing to happen to them, according to JT.
Forget about it.
Ooh, whoa! Oh, you got to explain this one a little bit, Coach. That threw me off. Threw me for a loop.
I'd be lying if I said I heard this theory before, but it does make sense in terms of. I was surprised to hear him say that he was thinking about selling it a few months ago, but I'm just saying like, I don't have a whole lot of like, I don't have a whole lot to back up that my stance on it, but it just, besides the fact that it does make sense. Like if you're a Charlotte Hornets fan and you feel like they've underperformed and you want them to, we all know about, passionate fan bases here in this area, how people feel about the Commanders and all that stuff. Like, so I get it. Like, I don't have a dog in the race, but if it just makes sense, but the reason I had to ask for clarity is because I was just thinking about from a dollars and cents standpoint, like what are the Hornets worth before, like what are they worth now as opposed to if they had gotten Wembanyama?
It probably adds like $1 billion to the valuation.
So I was thinking like, hey, maybe Michael's like, I'm selling regardless, but like I'm selling a whole lot quicker if we get Wembanyama because,
right.
I know it's not that simple, but I truly had to ask because I didn't know, I wanted to get clarity before I answered, but.
Yeah, you're on the right path. So basically he was going to sell the team and then they had a high odds to get the number 1 pick and he kind of was holding out to see what happens and now he's going to go through with it basically.
Okay.
To me, it's Fugazi though. Like you always want that generational talent. Come on, Coach. Like you can't tell me that the Cleveland fans were like, well, Dan Gilbert, who we don't want, would have sold had we not gotten, LeBron. So let's let Gilbert sell it and not get LeBron. Come on. I mean, it's a generational talent. Like you got to take them. You're
getting away from the question. The question is
that is not.
The question is by them not getting him, is this the best thing to ever happen because Jordan won't be in charge of the team? Yes,
but that's what I'm saying. That's false. It's Fugazi. You always want the talent. I'm willing. You're acting like he's James Dolan or Dan Gilbert. Michael Jordan's not that bad. He's not like that annoying, right? Like you want that talent because eventually that talent is going to help your team. Like just because Jordan leaves doesn't mean you're going to win. What have you won before Jordan? As a franchise, you've never been to an NBA Finals. So what makes you think you're going to get there without Jordan? But with Victor, you got a chance. So that's why it's Fugazi.
Man, what are you talking about, man? Forget about it. 100%. Man, that bald-headed alcoholic would have ruined Victor, man. Like
Whoa.
everything that Jordan touches turns to like absolute crap, man. Like I'm glad that he went anywhere else but Charlotte. Like he would have turned Victor into Kwame Brown. That's exactly what would have happened.
Wow.
I'm looking for lightning. I don't want to get.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, Coach.
I'm sorry. I'm
Stay
sorry.
away from JT.
I'm sorry. I'm just Michael Jordan. We can cast on this show. I apologize. Y'all
said
can
that
give
with
me
some
the blame.
passion.
I said it.
You had some passion behind you with that statement, man. I didn't know you felt that way about MJ.
I've heard too many bad stories about Michael Jordan, to be honest with you.
Okay. Yeah.
Next one. Sixers are making a mistake pursuing catering to James Harden rather than committing to build around Joel Embiid. Forget about it or Fugazi.
Fugazi, because I don't think it's an either or. I think they can be dynamic. They have been dynamic together. You don't hear that talk about building around one person anymore. You build around 2-3 guys. So the reason I say it's Fugazi is because I don't think it's not about whether or not it's a mistake. I just don't think they're doing it because I don't think they have to make like an ultimatum, like, hey, we're going to put all of our eggs in the James Harden basket or the Embiid basket. Again, I don't know what their cap room and all that stuff is. That's for you. You guys are smart enough to figure that out. I can't do it.
That's not. He's the capologist.
But
I'll explain that in a little bit, Coach. I'll get to that.
Yeah, I just don't think. I don't think they need to. I don't think they need to decide between the two. I think they need to focus more on what they have around them, and focus more on the right coach, like the right coach that gets out of the way and understands the dynamic. These are two like pretty. These are two interesting dudes, man, and like finding a way to mesh them together with everybody else is more. I think that should be more the focus than like who you're catering to.
Yeah, it's Fugazi. It's twofold. I think that is building around him. Like, having Harden as a shooter is building around Embiid because it's like, who else are you going to bring in? And then, Coach, you bring up a good point with the cap. Like, I've explained this before to JT on the show, is that just because Harden leaves and doesn't, go with the player option or that you don't re-sign him in free agency, that doesn't mean it frees up the cap room because, the way it works is that, like, if you're already on a team, you can go over the cap because he's already there. Like, you can't just bring in a free agent, go over the cap. So they're not going to be creative enough. They're just not. It's nothing to do with the front office. It's just they're not going to have that creativity, that room with the cap space to bring in someone, a second and third superstar for Embiid. So You're committed to this process. You're committed to Embiid. You got to stick with Harden. That's Daryl Morey's guy. Like, it's over. That is what it is. You got to do what Coach said. Bring in that right coach.
I'm gonna go forget about it. I think it's because it's James Harden. Like, he's old. He's clearly declining, and he's shown that I don't want to say he'll quit, but when things don't go well, he's looking for other options. Like, the 76ers should be figuring out how they can maximize the team around their MVP, and it's as simple as that.
All right. Last one, Coach. This is a big one.
This is the second to last. This is the second to last one. I see. He always likes to surprise me, but I got to surprise him.
All right. So this second to last one, Coach. This could really get JT to jump off the edge here. So let's see if we can do that. So Jimmy Butler is a top 10 NBA playoff performer all time.
Oh,
you asking me first?
No,
I was asking Coach. Coach got to think about it.
I have a question. Who's responsible for number 5? Who's responsible?
It's JT. Come on, Coach. He's the
so that was
guy.
That is I'm not creative enough or eloquent enough to convey what I'm trying, but like that's the biggest Fugazi of all time.
Woo! I love it. That's
the biggest Fugazi of all time, and I don't have I don't have the luxury of looking up his playoff stats. I understand what he did last playoffs. I understand what he did this playoffs, but what has he not done? And I think he will. He may do it. He may do it this year. But think about God. Like
you said I was gonna go off the edge. Here you go.
Yo,
come on, Coach T. Tell us how you really feel.
Who? Think about the NBA playoffs. How, man? Like I know I got a couple years on y'all. I know, but like I'm not gonna sit here and talk to you about Wilt Chamberlain and Oscar Robertson. Like
Don was around when they was playing.
Dude, top 10. The biggest problem with the question is the number you put in there, 10. If you want to say 100 or something, maybe.
Oh, like, we talking about everybody.
Well, I'm just saying, like, think about all the like.
Hey, look, you assume I'm going to answer the question a certain way. Just because I put a question in there doesn't mean
I don't know. I'm offended by the question, regardless of anybody's answer. I don't think he's a top 10 NBA player performer currently, let alone all time.
Yeah, I agree. It's Fugazi. Like we're talking about a guy that hasn't even done it in the NBA Finals yet. Like we got guys that have taken over NBA Finals, multiple NBA Finals. So yeah, he can't be in the top 10 all time and hasn't even played in the biggest game in the sport.
He's headed that way.
He's played in.
Nah, he's not even close.
He's played in the bubble.
No,
in the bubble,
not top 10.
No, what I was saying in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, but I got to see him do it.
But no, I
got to see him do it multiple times.
It's Fugazi. Let's be clear. It's Fugazi. I got a list of at least 15 off the top.
I don't want that list. Just say yes or no, man.
It's Fugazi. Let's go. Hey, what, Coach? Say that again. What was it? What'd you say? It's all-time Fugazi. What was that wording? That was great.
It was the biggest, or maybe all-time biggest Fugazi.
I like it.
Ever.
All right. So this is the surprise one. Y'all didn't have time to prep for it, but you really don't need prep because it's an opinion of what you think. Next one and the last one is without college national championship, the Olympics, Carmelo Anthony is not a Hall of Famer.
Woo!
Coach about to leave this. Coach, you need me to answer first.
So only two things you're taking away are maybe Hakeem Ward doesn't block that shot or whatever. The Olympics were going to happen regardless, but Fugazi. I mean, think about some Hall of Famers without a ring and without a college national championship. I mean, Iverson's the first person that comes to mind. He might have gotten a gold medal. I'm sorry, but I'm sure he got a gold medal, right? But he didn't get an NBA championship or a college championship. But no, he's what? He's top 10 in scoring or top 20 in scoring. No, he brought back the mid-range, man. He's a Hall of Famer just for that. He brought back the mid-range. He gave
guys like me hope again.
He says, screw them analytics.
I seen you mid-range, man. Ain't no hope for that shot.
No, I love the question, and that's a barbershop, question. You go on for hours and hours, but no, I think he's still a Hall of Famer, even without the college and the Olympic championship.
Okay.
So the question was, without those two, he is not a Hall of Famer. Is that what you're saying?
Well, basically, is he a Hall of Famer without those?
Yeah.
Well, you got to put in a statement. But so I guess it'd be Fugazi, like Coach said, because he's a Hall of Famer in my opinion, even without those two things. I mean, just look at the scoring and what he did during his career. I mean, he did bring back the Knicks to some relevancy too. So let's not forget about that. But he's still a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest answer to this question is 2 teams are considering retiring his number. So that alone makes him a Hall of Famer. The only thing is, which 15 gets retired? That's the thing. I mean, can you retire the same number twice? Can you do that? I mean, this is a hell of a case for it. But even the Knicks are considering retiring his number 7. So that plus the scoring that you guys mentioned, and then I think this is like his impact on the game. Like in his prime, like Carmelo was never not considered at least a top 10 player in the league. Like, regardless of how you felt about his game, like, he was always up there. And I think his saving grace is, on top of everything we talked about, if you talk to a lot of guys that played in the NBA and you ask them tough covers, like Carmelo's up there. Like, he's a hard guy to defend. Like, that big with that offensive bag, like, it's tough to defend a dude like that. So I think the respect he gets for his game and his skill set, plus all the other stuff we discussed, I think he's a Hall of Famer even without a ring.
Is he, not to steal your question, but like just to piggyback, is he a first ballot without those?
See, we argue about this all the time. The Basketball Hall of Fame, I feel like it's like a turnstile. Everybody getting in now.
He made a couple jumpers, got a couple steals.
I think he would, just because I think when you score that many points, I think they gotta let you in. If it's the NFL, they would think different. But I think you score that many points, like you top 20 in points, like they gotta let you in the first ballot.
Yeah, I think he'd be first. Yeah, I think he should be first ballot. I mean, I'd like to know if guys like George Gervin and Charles Barkley were first ballots, but I
imagine they would be, right?
Yeah, so like I think that's why Carmelo would be. I think he's got to be. I
think so too.
Into this, man.
No, I'm trying to make sure we're looking at, like, are we missing something? Because I think it's an easy answer.
You're not making it sound so easy.
I think he's in first ballot.
That's your final answer. He's in.
Final answer.
All right. Lock it in. See, my surprises are good. Yours, they go somewhere else that we don't want to go.
Your question should be like whole other topics. See, that's the problem. You got to be quick, bam, get an answer, think about it, and move on. So, Coach, great job, man. Thank you very much for the time. A lot of fun. We hope we didn't scare you off with the banter. We hope you'll be willing to come back on. All right,
absolutely.
Good.
You guys are on the cusp of something special, man. The next thing you guys are going to be at like some chain sports bar doing your show live soon. This is fun, man. Too
kind. But yes, we'd love to have you back on. We can't wait to have you back on. Thank you again. And to all the people and followers and listeners out there, thank you for listening. As always, remember, you can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you find all of your other favorite podcasts. Remember, if you like what we do, leave us a 5-star review. And JT,
if you don't like what we do,
leave us a 5-star review. And remember to follow us on social media. Our handle, JT and the Don. We can be found on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook. So, JT, great episode, man. A lot of fun. Thank you again to Coach Haj Turner. And until the next, thank you, Coach. And until the next episode, guys, see ya.
Peace.